Hi guys, I'm Sonal and welcome to my channel. There's a lot happening in life currently, and that's the reason I find it very challenging to record a video in my kitchen. Finally, I decided that I'm going to sit on my couch in the privacy that I need, and let's go ahead and see what I make. Today I'm going to share a recipe that I made in my dehydrator. This is an extremely sustainable way of doing things. Whenever you have a lot of produce available, especially if it is seasonal produce, then you can buy a lot of it at a good price and then dehydrate it and store it in your pantry itself. Now, if you have a dehydrator, it is even better. If you don't have one, you can definitely do this in your oven on the lowest setting. You can dehydrate these foods, store them, you can carry them with you when you're traveling, if you're camping. So what I'm doing here is I'm making a recipe for my daughter to take to her dormitory there. So there's no microwave, nothing there. The only thing you can buy is an electric kettle, and I was trying to think of things she can make in that. As you might be aware that I'm a little bit against using wheat or even whole wheat. So I don't like her eating those Korean noodles. I wanted to recreate the recipe with a lot of vegetables. I took a lot of good organic vegetables and I dehydrated them, and I'm also showing you how I sometimes do it with my leftovers. So if you have leftover sliced onions, you can dehydrate them, and you can just have a mix and match of whatever is left in your fridge, put that under a dehydrator and just store that. Now after this, I'm going to cut the green onion tops really fine and then dehydrate those. If you're making a soup, you can just throw in some of these peppers, so you don't really need to wash and chop every time. If you have these in glass bottles in your pantry, you can just throw some of this in every soup that you make. You can also throw some of the vegetable powder that I'm making with mushroom in it, because mushroom has an umami flavor, and if you add that, it gives that meaty flavor to anything that you're making. So if you're eating vegetarian, if you like to be plant-based, that's another great idea to do. If you live outside India, a lot of times you can buy these mushroom powders, but they do have some additives. So if you're going to make them yourself, it is much better than buying them. Listen to this. I've had this dehydrator for a while, so let me tell you some of the other things that I do using a dehydrator. So I do like to eat nuts. I soak a bunch of almonds. Next day, peel off all of the skins, because the skin is not really an edible part of an almond. Put that almond in the dehydrator. Once it's completely dried, you can store it in your pantry, or if you want, in the refrigerator. And look at our green onion tops. I'm going to store them the way they are. These are all the vegetables that we dried. We are going to put that in the blender, and I'm going to make a powder out of it, which is going to be the soup base. The rice and the chicken I'm going to send to my daughter along with the soup base that I'm making, and I'm going to give it a ramen flavor. And I'm super happy with my mushroom soup powder. It's a great way to store foods in large quantities in small spaces. It doesn't really even need heat, but it does taste better when it's warm or with heat. That's another thing. But if you're traveling or you're camping and you want something light to carry, you have gotten rid of all of the water from these foods, which can actually make them go rancid or get spoiled, and you have made them lighter, so you carry it with you, and wherever you can buy water, you can just put some hot water in it and you have your food back to life. So I've done this with this basmati rice and chicken. So I boiled and cooked the chicken thoroughly. I shredded it really thin and I dehydrated the rice and the chicken. If you do that to basmati, it's even better. You can do it to a sticky rice too, and then separate it once it's dry and store it in the bag. I've bought a bunch of these dried powders. I have 1 teaspoon of the ginger powder. I'm putting about 2 tablespoons of the garlic powder, 1.5 teaspoon of the onion powder, 2 tablespoons of the tomato powder. It is delicious. 1 teaspoon of the black pepper, 1.5 teaspoon of the cumin powder, some Kashmiri chili, so use any chili powder that you like, 2 teaspoons of turmeric, and 1 tablespoon of salt. I'm going to give this a taste and then adjust for the salt later. So here I'm tasting it and I've put 1 more tablespoon. So after this, you can just store this as a ramen base and add salt whenever you need. I'm also adding my mushroom and vegetable powder here, so I added about like 1.5 tablespoon, and I also added some more salt because that is not salted, and you have that base ready. Now she can just use the chicken and rice and put this as a flavoring and put a bunch of water. Also give the green onions along with that. Now this is a silica pouch which will hold all of the moistures, but you can just store that in a closed airtight containers along with a silicone bag, which is what I do. make it and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.